Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best cards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on this tier list. But before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 15,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So we have right here about 50 of the best cards in MyTEAM right now. There are certainly going to be some guys missing from this list that y'all might want to hear my thoughts on. So if any of those guys pop out, make sure to leave a comment. I'll let you know what I think of that card. But with 50 of these cards, we're gonna have around 10 per tier list. Per tier. These lists, because these cards are the best in the game, generally wind up being a bit top heavy, so it might be a little more top and middle heavy than bottom heavy. Not gonna have that many guys in D tier, but as a whole, let's hop right into it. Let's see what we can start ranking. So we have Dwight Howard, who is, a very fine center. He's just an inside big, and I don't love inside bigs personally at this point in the game. Among the top 50 cards in the game, I think I'm actually going to put him in C tier. I might wind up having to move him up to B tier. I am going to get, I would not be surprised, a little bit of hate for my lack of support for the inside bigs. I've got to the point where I just think it's becoming harder and harder to actually use an inside big, no matter how good they are on the inside, because floor spacing is so important, and the ability to paint sit off of a inside big means that you can pretty much only run a straight pick and roll offense with a 3 hunting guard or attempt to throw a lob. That's about it with your bigs, or try to just throw it at a slip's face and hope that it gets through, which it does sometimes because interceptor sucks. But regardless, inside bigs have become very, very hard to use, especially at a competitive level, and I think they got to go low. And honestly, Dwight Howard is C tier. I almost want to put him D tier. Bobby Portis, I will also put C, simply because he is not as fully evolved as he has the potential to be yet. He is only a Ruby. I like him a lot. He's a great catch and shoot 3-point shooter. I would honestly prefer to use him over Dwight Howard if I had to use either of them. He will be getting evoed up to Amethyst, and we'll see what that evo gives him. Hopefully a little bit more defensive ability, but he's already got pretty good size, a really great release, decent speed, and is a very, very nice solid option at the center position. I think among the best cards in the game, a Ruby being C tier, not too shabby. Same thing with a guy like Derek White, who actually I think you could argue is as high as B tier, even at a Ruby. The Celtics lost to the Magic 2 days ago when y'all are seeing this video, so unfortunately he will not be getting his evo up to Amethyst until at the earliest Wednesday, and he can't unfortunately hit Diamond anymore because of that loss. But even as a Ruby, he's already amazing. 86 speed, 84 3 ball, can dunk the ball wide open, defensively amazing on the perimeter. Badge wise, has gold speed booster and blow by, as well as bailout and break starter. Defensive badges are on point. He can dunk the ball wide open. He's got pretty good size. He's an awesome budget card. I still think you got to probably go C. I think B is probably gassing it just a little bit, but he's pretty comparable to a guy like Diamond Dwayne Wade, in my opinion. I like his release as well. I like his movement as well. I think he's an awesome card. I'm really disappointed that the Celtics lost, because I was really hoping this card would go to Diamond, but we'll see. His peak is now Amethyst. We'll see if he gets there. Ben Mathurin right now is unfortunately going to go in the D tier. Well, yeah, probably got to go D tier. I will say Ben Mathurin will be getting an evo up to Diamond on Monday, because the Pacers won their last in-season tournament regular season game. This card is actually pretty good. Statistically, he's decent defensively, but he needs defensive badges desperately. He can time and burst now, which is nice. Playmaking badges are nice. Does not have speed booster, though. I'd like to see that get on him as well. He just needs defensive badges. His release is actually quite nice. His movement is pretty decent. Leaner is good. Offensively, I like the card. Defensively, I don't love him. I think when you're looking at the best of the best cards in the game right now, though, which is what this list is, he is one of the worst ones. So right now I will put him D tier, but I think with a couple of defensive badge boosts and some stuff like that, he could be at least C, if not B, as a Diamond. Jared Vanderbilt is almost A, but I think probably B among the best cards in the game. I mean, he can time and burst. He's a great defender. Even without anchor and clamps, he's still a very impactful, good defender. Really versatile, highly athletic, a release that is very smooth and easy to green if it is a tiny bit on the slower side. Jared Vanderbilt's a great card, and I think he's a borderline top 5 power forward in the game for sure. He's right there at that A to B tier, in my opinion. He is one of the best of these tournament battles cards. The 13k MT for this card is incredible value. Andre Kirilenko is probably A tier as well. I don't think he's quite S tier anymore. A week or two ago, I would have had him at S tier, but with all the new cards that have dropped, I think it's hard to put him that high. He's definitely A, though. One of the best defensive cards in the entire game. I like his release. This is a competitive level card for sure still. You could make an argument that he deserves to play over a couple of the, LeBron's the best small forward in the game, but after that, if you wanted to use AK for the defense as your backup small forward, second best small forward in the MyTEAM, I wouldn't blame you at all. Like, he's right there at the top still. Anthony Davis probably goes C tier at this point, among the best of the best, the top 50 cards in MyTEAM or so. I think probably got to go C tier for Anthony Davis. He's good. He can shoot the ball still. He's a very good defender. He's athletic. He's versatile. He's just not incredibly complete badge-wise. He only has like 72 speed, which is not amazing at this point. He's still a very good card, but I wouldn't say he's truly elite. Brandon Ingram, I do think, is one of the worst cards in this list because his release is very bait and he's not a very good defender. The idea of this card was for him to be a great offensive card, but he doesn't have a good enough release to be a great offensive card. And defensively, he is not impactful. So do not think he's a very good card. Brandon Roy, not... I mean, he's probably S. He's got to go. I think Brandon Roy has to go S tier. I think he's the second best shooting guard in the game. When he's fully badged up, he is insane. You put shooting, playmaking, defensive badges on this card and really soup him up. He is absolutely elite. If you have a fully souped 20 half badge Brandon Roy, if you're one of those people, you could argue he's the best shooting guard in the game. But right now, as a realistically, assuming you added clamps and you added speed booster and a couple things. You added a couple things to him. He's got a couple extra hoffs, maybe 5 extra gold badges, and he's a little bit souped up in certain areas. He's the second best shooting guard in the game. He's a shot creator. He's versatile. He's a really good card. Like my Brandon Roy is a very, very good card. I got a couple extra badges on him. He's got 6 hoffs, 22 gold badges. I really like the card. He's versatile, athletic, just a really nice option at the shooting guard position. I think he's a top 10 card of the game for sure. I think he's very good. I also think Cade Cunningham is a top 10 card in the game. I don't think that's an insane... top 10 is really hard. He might be the 10th best card in the game. He's right on that borderline. We'll see if I actually wind up leaving him S tier, but he's damn close. Cade is 6'7" with very good movement at the point guard position, a very nice release. His fade is horrific, like awful. He has the worst fade in the game, I think. But outside of the fade, his movement is good. His standstill jumper is good. He's a very capable dunker, and he's a pretty versatile defender with great size at the point guard position. I love this card, and I think you could make an argument he's the second best point guard in the game. He is really, really good. 84 KMT for that card is insane value. Carmelo's an elite offensive card, good fade, great release, pretty good movement, fun to use, athletic, debug, dribble style, all that type of stuff. Defensively, he is an atrocity. He's one of the worst defenders on this list. Definitely a liability on that end of the court. I think he's good enough offensively to still go C tier, but he's basically what Brandon Ingram should have been, because Brandon Ingram's a bad defender too. But if BI had a release like Carmelo's, he'd be a better Carmelo, to be honest. So I don't know. BI's release being terrible though takes away from him, whereas Carmelo's release is great, and he's still a very good card. I think Bosch has to go A tier. I don't think he's S tier anymore, but I really like the card. He can get every badge. Release is a little bit longer than last year's Bosch, as y'all probably are all aware at this point, but I still like the card a lot. I think he's very usable. I think he's a competitive level big man in this game for sure. I think he's versatile, athletic, really, really good card, and A tier for sure. Devin Booker is C. He is. I mean, 79 speed, even with his shoe boosting up all of his stuff, he's not insanely athletic. He's a very poor defender. He's awesome offensively, and his fade is the best fade in the game. And he's still incredibly glitchy offensively. D-Book dribble style is amazing, as we know. But the card's just outdated. We will get a very good D-Book relatively soon, though. I think I would not be surprised to see a PD D-Book sometime in Season 3 or Season 4, who is one of the best shooting guards in the game. Again, an absolutely incredible offensive card. It's probably coming. Donovan Mitchell is going to be, I think, D tier. Yeah, D tier. He's 6'1". I like the card. I think he's very fun. I think he's very athletic. His movement is pretty good. Defensively, though, he wasn't. I liked this card a ton at the beginning of Season 2, but then they dropped 19 million tall point guards in Season 2. We now have Lonzo and Magic and SGA and Harden and Cade and Pete Maravich, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So many tall, versatile point guards. Donovan Mitchell not having clamps and only being 6'1" just doesn't get the job done. Awesome offensive card. Very fun to use, but he's still got to go D tier. Wade gets to B tier still because of how good he is defensively. I don't love this Wade card offensively at all. His release is not very good, so 300 with him is hard. His attack the rim ability is very capable, and he is a good playmaker. He's a good finisher at the rim, and defensively he's very nice, but I don't love the fact that he can't really shoot unless he gets left wide open, which doesn't happen a ton unless he's off the ball. I like the card a lot. I still think he's a solid option. Very good free point guard. He's somewhere in the B tier, but I don't think he's any higher than that. Giannis is one of the 2 best cards in the game. He is absolutely incredible. The ability to get every badge, especially for the people who bought some of those Hall of Fame badges that were available in the pack market, and you have him souped up in that aspect as well. Giannis is incredible, and he's definitely an S tier card. Gordon Hayward is B tier. He's just the solidest, rock solid shooting guard in the game. He's like the 7th or 8th best shooting guard in my team. Maybe borderline top 5 if you really like him. Release is good. Stats and badges all the way around are very solid. He's just a really good card. He's not insane, but he's a very good card. Harden is an elite offensive guard, maybe probably the best offensive point guard in the game. And for some people, you might a lot of people would say he's S tier. A lot of people would take him over Cade. I've been using Cade over Harden personally because I think Cade's size is so valuable. And honestly, he does play bigger and better defensively than Harden. Harden's not as bad of a defender as people think, but he is a bit limited. His sigs can be a little challenging to use, but he's so good offensively. Like, Cade and Harden is really, really close to me. And I honestly am pretty aware that I think I only have room for one of them in A tier. But you know what? I'm going to procrastinate that decision, and I'm going to put Harden in S tier right now. And I'm going to put Cade in S tier. And one of them's going to have to get moved down eventually at the end of this video. But right now, I'm putting them both in S because I love the cards. Jaren Jackson Jr. is B tier. He's a better Anthony Davis, a little faster than AD, a little bit better shooter than AD, and similar athletically while being a slightly better defender as well. Really good card, super solid B tier option. Jaylen Brown's release stinks, puts him in C tier. He's still a very good all-around shooting guard option, right at that borderline top 5. He's probably B tier. He's probably better than Gordon Hayward, to be honest. They're pretty close cards. I think you put them both B. If Jaylen Brown had a very good release, he'd be top 2 shooting guard in the game, probably. If he had an elite release, like a Brandon Roy or Paul George level release, he'd be right on the level of those guys, but with the baited release, he's just not. Jeremy Lin's fine. He's a short PG. He moves pretty well. He's athletic. He's a pretty good defender, but his release is a little baited, and at that size, without being an insanely elite defender, slasher, or something like that, kind of hard to put him higher than D tier. I actually kind of like him. 35 KVC for that card was pretty okay, but for most people, it doesn't really make your squad. So yeah, probably not that great in D tier. I'd say Joe Johnson is also smack dab in that B tier. I really don't think you can put him A tier simply because his release is kind of baited, kind of like Jaylen Brown. The card can get every badge, which is awesome. He's a versatile card, pretty good playmaker, good size of shooting guard, but I think he's honestly a little held back by his release as well. That's why I think he caps out at the B tier as well. Joel Embiid is probably very high B or low A. You could really go either one. I think I'll go low A. He's basically kind of similar athletically to Anthony Davis while being more versatile as an interior player for sure, a bigger player build, similar shooting wise to AD as well. He's honestly just a bigger, better interior Anthony Davis is how I would describe this Joel Embiid card. I think he's way underrated. I don't understand why people don't like that Embiid card. He would still be on my team if not for Kareem and Chet both being locked in. I really like this card a lot. This Embiid is a beast, and he's still a top 5 center in the game, so I think he's an A tier guy. John Wall, borderline top 5 PG, still awesome offensively, a little undersized defensively. He definitely still cracks the A tier. Really, really great offensive card, elite slasher, pretty good defensively as well. If you're a good skilled defensive player, you can he's not going to be a liability size wise in most matchups as long as he has somebody 6'6", 6'5", 6'7" to guard. I like John Wall. I think he's a fun card to use. I think he's still an A tier point guard. I think Josh Smith sucks. His release is just really bad. He's a great defender. He's big. He's athletic at power forward. He's not really huge at power forward, but he's super athletic and he's a great defender, but his release is really bad and that hurts him a lot. I think D tier is fair. I think Dr. J has to go C. I don't think I can put him A or B or anymore. I think C is probably the fairest spot for him. He's just not in the level of some of the newer shooting guards we've gotten. He was an awesome card for his time, but he's going to need better shooting stats and badges on his next card. Release is awesome though, and I'm sure his next card is going to be a top tier shooting guard in the game, just like Devin Booker. But these guys' time has kind of come at this point in the game, and I'm sure they will be replaced with some new versions of themselves relatively soon. Kareem's a top 5 card in the game, best big in my team right now. He's an incredible card, best pure center, I should say. Giannis is a more versatile card, being able to play power forward at an incredibly elite level and still being an elite center, but I think Kareem is an insanely good card. The fact that he could shoot the ball decently well with a release that's actually pretty easy to green is stupid, but he's S tier for sure. Kawhi is B tier. Kawhi might be A. Kawhi's close. He's a really good card. I think he's versatile. I think he's athletic. I think he does a ton of things really well. This is turning into a really long video, so I apologize for that. But I think Kawhi has to go A tier. 3 and D, really, really solid. Great card still. S tier for KD for sure. The ability to get every badge is really, really nice. I think he's still an incredible card. One of the most versatile small forwards in the game. Can play power forward at a very high level as well at 6'10". He's an awesome, awesome card. Kyrie's D tier because he can't dunk and he can't defend. He's got some of the best movement and shot creation in the game, but his release isn't truly elite. And then defensively and slashing wise, he's just not there. He was an awesome, super fun level 40 in season 1, but at this point, he is also outdated. Braun is the best card in the game, best stats and badges in the game by a mile. He's got great animations as well, an improved release, capable sigs, elite slashing ability. He's a top tier card in my team. Lonzo Ball is A tier, great defensive PG, super versatile card, does a ton of things really, really well on the court. I like his release as well. I think he's very good. Luke is only on this list because he was a set lock-in and because he's my favorite player as well. He's probably the worst player on this list. That card is an atrocity. I hope you did not lock him in, and I hope you never lock him in. But I hope the next Luke can play point guard gets completely changed. Sigs and animations, and is an awesome, fun card at some point this year. I think Magic is B. I really do. I think he's better than Dwayne Wade, but not by a lot. He just doesn't move very well at point guard. He's not really a particularly good shot shot creator. His biggest asset is just that he's very big. That's really the only good part about Magic, because everything else is pretty mediocre. He's just really big, and that gives him a viability. But I think B tier is probably fair. I think Michael Beasley is A tier. He's an awesome card. I think he's top of A. I think you could almost make an argument for S tier. He's awesome. He's fun. He's got an elite release. He's an incredible slasher. He is what an offensive wing should look like in this game. Crazy athletic with a park release and amazing, amazing glitchy animations. He's a top tier card on the offensive end of the court. He plays defense better than people would expect as well. Really like that Michael Beasley card. He's A tier. I think MJ is probably the third best shooting guard in the game, and yet I still don't really want to put him A tier. He is A tier, though. He's insane defensively, insane as a slasher, moves really well. He's just not a great shooter. The shooting is his biggest flaw, but he's still an A tier guy for sure. Mikal Bridges is B, right on the level of Joe Johnson, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward. They're all basically the same card, and they do different things, obviously, but they're all on the same exact level. Mikal's a 3 and D. He's an okay shot creator, but not great. Good card, not insane. B tier shooting guard. Siakam is probably S. I think Siakam has to crack the S tier. He's just so good and big and versatile as a, well, not big, but everything else at power forward. He's basically better Jared Vanderbilt. I really like the card a lot. I think his release is good. I think he shot creates well. I think he's an awesome all-around card in my team. Paul George also is S tier, best shooting guard in the game for sure. And that is our 9th player at S tier. I know there's going to be one more. I might have actually done my S tier perfectly because I think that I have 10 guys. I think I can put both Cade and Harden in S tier. But PG's an incredible card. He's the best shooting guard in the game by a mile. He's an obvious S tier. I don't think that one's one that anybody's going to debate. Pete Maravich is just outside the A tier. I think he's B. Not insane defensively, but pretty good. He can dunk wide open, and he's a very good shooter. Big size at 6'5" at point guard. I think he's a good card, but not insanely elite as a shot creator at the 3-point line or as a slasher. So good card, but not quite next level. Scotty Barnes deserves an A tier spot for sure, but I can't go higher than A tier, I don't think. Very good card when paired with Siakam. He becomes even better. Gets a duo that gives him Hoff catch and shoot and clamps, which are 2 of the better Hoff badges in the game, especially for a 3 and D wing, which is what he is. I really like Scotty Barnes. I think he's a great card. 84K is a great price. Guys like him, Beasley, and AK are incredible value wings in this game. Scottie Pippen probably goes C tier. He's a 3 and D card, but he's not a shot creator, and release is good, but his 3-ball rating is a little bit low. Defensively, he's not as elite as he once was. He's one of those cards who's becoming a little bit outdated. I'll give him B tier, though, just because of how good his release still is. I think that's fair. I'm going to put SGA in the S tier. I love this SGA card. I think he's awesome. I think he does a ton of things incredibly well at the point guard position. I think he, Giannis, and Braun are probably the 3 best cards in the game right now. When you fully badge out an SGA the way that I have, he is the best card in the game for sure. The best point guard. I'm putting Shaq in C tier, and I'm not apologizing for it. He's an inside big, just like what I said with Dwight. I don't like him anymore. I can't use an inside big. Same thing with Will. Let's put him in C tier as well. I refuse to use inside bigs. I'm done with them. C tier. They're on the level of Anthony Davis. I would rather run Jaren Jackson Jr. than one of these inside bigs. I might rather want Wilt than AD or Bobby Portis, but it'd be kind of close. Inside bigs are not it for me anymore. I actually think I would put him C tier. I know that's a personal opinion, but still not a huge fan. Steph goes D tier. That's an easy one, just for the same reasons that Kyrie is Donovan Mitchell. Not good enough defensively, not big enough. Tyler Hero, I actually like. I think he's a really good 6'5" point guard. Offensively, he's awesome. Defensively, he's not good, but at least he's got pretty good size at 6'5". Moves really well. Great release. Fun card to use. I think he's really good. Sharif Abdur-Rahim is one of the best budget wings in the entire game. Really like that card as a versatile, athletic, small forward option. I think he does a lot of things really well. Really good budget card, and I think he's high C or even B tier. I'll probably put him B tier, and then I think I'm going to put Terry in C. Terry's actually a pretty good small forward. He's a good card. Great release. Pretty athletic. Unfortunately, can't time and burst, though, and also doesn't. He should be able to play shooting guard. He should be able to time and burst. His badges should be a little better. He should just be a little bit better all-around card. 2K kind of hoed this Terry card, but I still think he's a solidly C tier option. As a whole, this I think is actually a very good tier list right now, so I hope y'all did enjoy the video. Let me know what y'all think of my list in the comment section down below. If there's anything you'd change, feel free to let me know, and like I said, if there's anybody I left off the list that you'd like to hear my thoughts on, let me know in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.